staged the first general strike in the United States, when 60,000 union men and women walked off their jobs in shipyards, bakeries, restaurants, and lumber mills. 1919 was a year of dramatic change. Things seemed to be coming apart. World War I had just ended, leaving a world swept by political upheaval, economic crisis, and a deadly influenza pandemic. It was in that atmosphere that the general strike shut down Seattle. The early 20th century was a tumultuous time in the struggle for workers' rights in industry and manufacturing, and unions played a large role. The IWW, the Industrial Workers of the World, or Wobblies as they were called, were a militant, powerful, and disruptive force in the timber camps and on city soapboxes. They called for worker ownership and the abolition of the wage system. By 1915, the city's workers were among the most organized in the nation, with solid union representation in the sawmills and along the waterfront, in the construction and transportation industries, and in the retail trades from bakeries to barbershops. The Wobblies recruited members in those places where conditions were the worst and the workers were most exploited, the lumber camps and sawmills. In 1917, when the United States joined its European allies in World War I, there was a desperate need for merchant ships. Attracted by union wages, 40,000 men thronged to Seattle area shipyards. New union workers came in from outlying lumber camps, bringing wobbly militancy with them. At the war's end, in late 1918, the need for new ships dried up, and Seattle shipyard unions were unable to negotiate wage increases. Shipyard ownership would not even sit down at the table to listen to their case. More than 30,000 shipyard workers went on strike on February 6, 1919. In an unprecedented move, 30,000 union members from other industries joined them, sending about 60,000 Seattle workers off the job and shutting down the city. Anna Louise Strong, an activist and editor at the Seattle Union Record, the only labor-owned newspaper in the country, supplied the strike's call to arms.
We are undertaking the most tremendous move ever made by labor in this country. A move that will lead to no one knows where. We do not need hysteria. We do not need fear. We need the iron march of labor. For labor will feed the people, care for the babies and the sick, and preserve order.
Despite their remarkable unity in calling a general strike, the Seattle unions represented a diverse group of workers, from conservative to radical. Some, including Mayor Ole Hansen, preferred to brand them all as radicals.
Unions, under the stress of war, have secured control of many labor organizations. Gathered here are hundreds and thousands of Russian Bolsheviks who have arrived here during the last 2 years. These scoundrels want to take possession of our American government, try to duplicate the anarchy of Russia.
Fearing violence, some people left the city. Others remained in their homes. But strike committees kept the peace, efficiently serving food, supplying hospitals, and arranging for other essential services. Seattle was functioning as a worker-run city.
They should be driven out from our city, from our state, from our country.
Fear of an impending revolution and riots led Mayor Hansen to increase the police force, deputize citizens, and mobilize federal troops. The unions demonstrated their power by not showing up for work, which closed stores and cut off profits. They proved they could enforce a peaceful and orderly general strike. But the strike failed to win the shipyard workers their raise, and after 5 days, unions began to abandon the strike and go back to work. With pressure from Mayor Hansen, federal troops, and unsupportive unions, the strike ended. For some, the strike was a mistake. For others, it represented a promise left unfulfilled.
Someday, when the workers have learned to manage, they will begin managing. And we, the workers of Seattle, have seen, in the midst of our general strike, a glimpse of what the fellowship of that new day shall be.